You guys are gonna click off of this video because of this rating for this book. I just know you are. I just know it. Which I feel like you're gonna hate me for this one too. I'm sorry that you can hear my washer in this video. Hello my beauties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Janelle, and if you're not new, hi, my name is still Janelle. Thank you for being here. So I wasn't even gonna film this video, to be honest with you. I was just not even gonna do it, but I've decided I'm going to. So here we are with my September wrap up. So the reason for me not wanting to film this month is because I didn't really read that many books. Well, I say that, but I ended up finishing 8 books, and I really don't know how I did that. Like, if I'm being so serious, I have no idea how I did that, because I have been in a slump like all of September, and now going into October, I'm in a slump too, and it's really, really crappy over here. So, really surprised I even made it to 8 books. But yeah, let's go ahead and discuss these. Okay, so you guys know how we do this. We are going to be talking about these books from lowest rated to highest rated. And I do have 3 5-star books to talk about later, so make sure you stay till the end of the video if you want to see those. And I do have a new favorite to talk about at the end of the video too, so stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get into the books that I read, starting at a rating of 2.5. You guys are gonna click off of this video because of this rating for this book. I just know you are. I just know it. The first book we're gonna talk about that I rated a 2.5 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So I did talk about this book and a few other books that I'm gonna be talking about in this video in my Book Bestie taste test. So this is my best friend Sydney's, one of her favorite books. And we did this video where I was gonna read her favorites and she was gonna read my favorites, and I didn't like this, like, really at all. At first, it was sitting at a 3, but then the more I thought about it, it's really more of a 2.5 because I didn't like the plot. The writing was great. The writing is what really saved this book. I was uninterested just about the entire time. I was annoyed by Addie the whole time in this book. I just felt like, you guys are gonna hate me, oh my gosh. I just felt like she was one of the whiniest characters I have ever encountered. Like, okay, you made a deal with the devil and now you have to, you know, live forever and you're always forgotten. But like, to hear her complain over and over and over again, I was like, girl, you asked for it. Oh my gosh, please do not come at me in the comments. Yeah, so not my favorite, didn't really enjoy it, so we're just gonna put this over here. Next, coming in at also a 2.5 is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. I did not really like this, and I think it was just very weak for me. It's supposed to be a mystery, which I do see the mystery in it. But it wasn't like gripping, or like, it wasn't keeping me on my toes like I thought it was going to do. And even the whole reveal at the end where you're like, oh my gosh, they did it. It wasn't even like a surprise. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, cool. Like, that did not, I don't know. Like, I just was not a fan of this book. Again, the writing is great. Although I did feel like we had some unnecessary moments in this, like things that like didn't matter, that I was just kind of like, why are we reading this scene? Like, what is this doing for us? So yeah, I just was not impressed by this. So yeah, but don't worry, I'm not writing off Agatha Christie, and I'm not writing off V.E. Schwab either. I do plan to read more of V.E. Schwab, and I do plan to read more of Agatha Christie, but this was just not for me. Okay, next up we have a book that I rated, what did I rate this? 3 stars. 3 whole stars. Which I feel like you're gonna hate me for this one too. And that is The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I did like this book, and I thought it was creative. I really did, but I thought it was way too political. I just felt like this should have been more of like a fantasy, like creative, kind of like light read is really what it's kind of talked to be, is like this kind of cloud, like just, I don't know, frothy, like cute read. Well, I felt like it had that, but then I also felt like I was reading the author's opinions and they were just kind of being like shoved at me. And it's not because I disagreed or agreed with anything in this book. It has nothing to do whether I disagreed or agreed. It's just the fact that like I went into this book wanting like this light, like cute, you know, a series of unfortunate events meets Harry Potter meets like Pixar feel. And I felt like I got that visually, but when it came down to like the morals and like the theme of the book, it was just a little bit too like political for me. So I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I really did like the story in and of itself. I thought it was really, really cute, and I thought it was really creative. Like I was really kind of swept away into TJ Klune's writing, and so that was amazing. But yeah, because it was just very like political is really the only word I can think of, but it wasn't politics. It was just like topics that I was just kind of like, I don't want that in like hidden in one of these like fantasy books. Like I just want to read this cute book, and I felt like it just, I don't know, it has some secrets. It was hiding some stuff. And I wasn't a fan of that. So, okay, next up, this is a book that I rated 4 stars. Yep, I was like, why did I rate this? And that is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. So this one I really, really did like. This one was very creepy, very eerie, and absolutely disgusting. The descriptions in this, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, are so gross. And they make your skin crawl is what they do. And I love that kind of stuff. So I loved it. I loved that aspect of it. However, the pacing in this book was really, really weird for me. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it sloped down in the middle, and it shouldn't have, because it's a really, really short book. Like it's like less than 300 pages. And I felt like we were like on this up and up, and then all of a sudden we just kind of like hit a rut, and I was like, what is going on right now? And I don't know, it just really slowed for me, and then by the time it picked back up again, I was kind of disconnecting from the story. So that I struggled with a little bit. The ending was great. The ending was very creepy, and you're just kind of like, ew, oh my gosh. So yeah, but definitely not one of my favorites, but it was really good, and I probably will reread this. But yeah, the pacing was just kind of off for me, I feel like. Okay, next book I rated 4.5 stars, and this one, I really do love this book, and that is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This one was another one that I read in the Book Bestie Taste Test video, which I will link in the description box down below if you would like to watch it. But yeah, so this is another one that I really, really loved. I read Beach Read by the same author and loved that book. I gave that book 5 stars. I just absolutely loved the banter and like just the chemistry between Augustus and January in that book. This one we follow Poppy and Alex, and I also loved their chemistry and their banter. However, this one, I just wasn't as connected to these characters as I was the other ones. In Beach Read, that one kind of brought me like to tears, like just out of pure happiness in that book. And this one didn't really do that for me. And because of that, it was just really hard for me to give it 5 stars and put it on the same level as Beach Read. So I did give it 4.5, which is still an absolutely amazing rating, especially coming from someone who does not like romance all that much. So yes, Emily Henry really did kick it out of the park. But yeah, it just wasn't a 5 star. So now let's get into our 5-star reads. So first up, I have No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is the 3rd book that I read in the Book Bestie Taste Test video, and I loved this book. I love this kind of trope in thrillers where like you're stuck in an isolated location. Like that kind of stuff is so good, and this one really had me like oh, everything's fine. Oh, it's not fine. Everything's fine. Nope, it's not fine. Like, I was freaking out reading this book, and I read it in less than a day. I could not put it down. It was so, so good, and I totally understand why Sydney loves this book, because it's now a new favorite of mine as well. But yes, this one was amazing. I highly recommend this one if you have not read this one. I haven't read anything else by Taylor Adams, so I would start with this one, but it's because that's what I did. So I don't know if that's good advice. But yes, this one was absolutely amazing. It had me on my toes. It was thrilling, it was gripping, it was everything that I needed in a thriller and more. Okay, and next up we have another thriller, I guess you could call it. This is more of like a YA thriller, and that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So this one I absolutely adore. I have tabbed this one. This was so fun to read. I can't wait to read the rest of the series. But this one I did recommend in my Q&A video to people who aren't really into reading. This one will probably get you into reading. The start of this book is like a letter from Truly Devious, who's like the killer kind of thing. And so it starts off with like this letter from them, and it really just grips you from the very first sentence. Like, it's incredible. The writing is incredible. The pacing was perfect. I really have no complaints about this book whatsoever. Like, I really just had a blast reading it. And I mean, I wrote like all in this book. Oh, and the humor. So I have a lot of orange tabs, as you guys can see. The humor in this book is insane. Like, it's the perfect amount of humor to like balance out like the creepiness of it. And I had so much fun with it. So you guys should definitely read this book. It's so good. Okay, and the last book that I'm going to talk about, which is a new favorite, which means I will try to read it again next year, and I probably will read it again like in a few days. But that is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. So this one is so, so cute. It's kind of like a romance, I guess, but like a fall festive romance that takes place in a pumpkin patch, and it is literally, oh, it is so amazing. This gives me like all of the cozy feels. I am like warm and fuzzy inside when I read this. It was amazing. The illustrations are incredible. I mean, seriously. Like, I just love them. And then also the relationship between these two characters. What are their names again? Because one of them is like, oh, Deja. Okay, so it is Josie and Deja, and I seriously, I loved this. Like, I want to read this again, and I probably will this month. But it was so, so good. I loved every minute of this, and I even read this at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was just supposed to be something that I was like, I'll fall asleep while reading it. Like, I just want to go to bed, and I literally couldn't put it down because I was just so in love with every minute of it. So yes, absolutely amazing. Loved, loved, loved this book. So yes, that's all of the books that I read in September. As much as a lot of you are probably like, 8 books is a good amount of books, which it is a good amount of books. But for me, I could have read way more last month, like just way, way more last month. And I was just very slumpy. So, you know, it is what it is. But I did have a blast in the month of September, even though I had some bad reads. I did have also some good reads to balance it out. But I was not like, it definitely was not my best reading month, but it also, I feel like, was kind of like an okay month because I had so many books that I didn't really like. I think that's what pushed me into a slump. So yeah, it wasn't good to start off my month in a slump. But yeah, that is everything for this video. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like to see what I read in September. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.